Okay then, thanks for tuning in for Wayne's Electrical. Okay, another boombox video. Now, before we cut into this one, okay, I have covered the boombox up, so if you're wondering what that is, it's just something to cover the boombox up, okay? Now, I've got to say this, right? As much as we don't want to, there are a time where things come to an end, okay? And this is one such time where, it does come to an end, okay? What we're going to do in this is the last boombox video that's going to be shown on Wayne's Electrical. Okay, over the last, the months that I've been doing it, we've looked at all sorts of boomboxes from, the little QT27 right the way through to big old vinyl spinners, all sorts. Okay, but it's one box left that I haven't shown yet on Wayne's Electrical, and it's right up there in front of the camera. It's hidden up at the minute, so I'm going to pull it away to do the final reveal of the last boombox to show on Wayne's Electrical. Okay, so hold on to yourself. Here we go. There it is. So what we got then is the Sharp GF767, the last boombox to show on Wayne's Electrical. Let's get into it. Oh yes, it is a sizeable one right there. Okay, yes, now I have done a boombox similar to this before now, and that is the GF777. okay. So, if you want to see the GF777, you see that model number? Yeah? Give it a click. Okay, I'll put a little box around it. You can give it a click and you can go to see the GF777, which is very... Oh, excuse me, I've got a burp then. Yeah, the GF777 is very similar to this, and it's got more bells, whistles, functions and features. Just to prove my point, where you see that GF767, on the 777 equivalent, there's a load of controls right about there. On this one, it's obviously been blanked off, and they've put the model number there instead. Let's get into this one then. Now, being a double cassette boombox, okay, it's got a variety of different features and functions associated with that, but like I say, this is like the more basic version. Okay, and yes, so we're going to be getting straight into this, no messing about, because I'm limited for time. Let's get into the tape decks then. Let's get the camera a bit closer. And here we go. Oh, just someone stood on my watch then, don't want to break my watch. Right, lower the camera down. This is deck number 1, or tape 1, or whatever you want to call it. Right in there, there's the controls for it then. Oh, we're still on manual focus. Come on, this is supposed to be full high definition. Oh, press it again. Full high definition, 1920 by 1080p, and there we go, we're into it then. So, there's the controls for deck 1. If I'll get all this stuff off the screen, I can see it with you. So going from left to right then, we've got eject, play, stop, rewind, cut, fast forward and pause. Now I'll explain what that cut function's for in a moment. Okay. Moving along then, tape 2, we have got, going from left to right once again, we've got record, mute, pause, record, play, stop, rewind, cut once again, fast forward and eject. Okay. So there we are. Now then, that funny little cut button, what does it do? Why is it there? Well, with some boomboxes, when you're fast forwarding on your music, the only way you can release the fast forward button is to press stop. Okay, now I'm going to explain something to you on this. This boombox has got something called APSS, as it says there. Okay, and you can see that the play button, the rewind and fast forward and the cut button are linked together with that little black line. Okay, what you do there is when you're playing a tape, like so, if you want to listen to the next track, instead of stopping it and winding it on, what you do is you just press the the fast forward like that. Okay, when you press it like that, it goes into a search mode. Okay, and it listens to the track for a quiet part on it. When it finds it, the fast forward button pops out. Okay, now when it's doing that, what you can do, if you think, oh, I don't want that anymore, press the cut button and it makes that pop back out. So it cancels that function. It's the same with the rewind one as well. Okay, if you're listening to a track or you're just finishing listening to that track and you want to listen to it again, press the rewind and it will go back to the beginning of that track and search for the silent bit just before the beginning of the track. When it finds it, that rewind button will pop back out. However, if you want to cancel it, press the cut button and it makes it pop out. That's what the cut button does. Record mutes then, that's probably the next one you're going to be asking about, because not many boomboxes have a record mute. That one does. What it is for, let me just stop that. What it is for is when you're recording onto the tape, at the end of the music track, if you just want a silent bit on there, you just hold that in like that, and it records a silent bit on the end of the track. Okay, and when you're done with that, just let go of it and it pops back out, and that is associated with deck 2. And again, we've got our pause, record, play, stop, rewind, cut, fast forward and eject. Okay, so there it is. Now on this one, on this deck, right, we don't have the APSS. Now I'll tell you what the APSS basically means in a minute. Well, anyway, I've already explained it, but this one runs a bit different. Okay, on this one, when you've got a tape playing like that, when you want to listen to the next song, you've got to do it a bit manually. Okay, the way it goes is a bit like this. You've got your tape playing with a certain track, but you want to listen to the next one. Okay, what you do is you press the fast forward like that, and what the machine does, the tape deck, it drops the tape head away from the tape. Okay, only very slightly, just so it allows the tape to whiz past at high speed, and the tape deck speeds up. Now, when it does that, you get the music come out on the speakers really fast, really squawky and squeaky, but it's rather quiet. But it's loud enough that you can hear it. Okay, and of course, as it winds on, you can hear the music squeaking along really fast. At the end of the song, when it fades out, what you do then is you press that cut button like that, and it carries on playing, and then that'll be the next track. Similarly, at the end of a track, if you wanted to listen to that again, and then press the rewind, and you can hear the music, the song you've just listened to, really fast, but going backwards. Okay, and of course, at the beginning of the song, there will be a quiet bit just before it. Once you hit the quiet bit, and then press cut, and then you can start the song over again. Okay, that's like the L manual way of doing it. Now the APSS, that's the automatic one on deck 1. Again, you're listening there. You know, you've got your play button going there. Okay, I've just pressed that in. If you want to listen to the next track, you just do that. Okay, when it finds that next track, that just pops out on its own. Okay, so it would sort of go like that, as if it were. And again, with the rewind, if you just finish listening to a track and you think, oh, I want to listen to that again, press your rewind and it will do it. Okay, when it finds the beginning of the track, that button will just pop out on its own automatically, like that, as if it were, and then it'll play the last track again for you. Now, while that's doing that, the APSS, we just come along here. So it says APSS on there. Okay, that actually lights up a green colour while it's doing the search function. Okay, but the APSS applies to deck 1 only. On deck 2, this one, you've got to do it a bit L manual, where when you're looking for the next track, it sort of does it all squeaky and squawky on the speakers, but rather quietly. It doesn't do it at really loud volumes, otherwise it would hurt your ears. Okay. So that is the tape decks explained so far. We're going to move along now. Function. Okay, right down the bottom there then we've got tape, in the middle we've got radio, and then right up the top we've got line in. Note over the other side we've got phono. Okay, what that is for is on the back of this boombox you've got your line in, of course, but there'll be a switch, and you could either choose that switch that the line in is a line in, or if you flick it the other way it's a phono input with a built-in phono stage. Okay, so that's handy to have a line in, because then you can connect up something else, like say for example a CD player, mini disc machine, reel-to-reel tape deck, some other source, and put it into this boombox, turn the volume control up and have it coming out on those big old 4 speakers on the front. Okay, we shall leave it on tape, like so. Next control along then, recording level. Okay, when you're recording on the tape you can choose how, you know, the level of volume on the tape there. Okay, why has that gone out? Come along, this is supposed to be full high definition, for goodness sake. Right, let me lock that in with manual then. It's probably my hand keep coming in like that, it's focusing on my hand instead. So I'll go again. There's a not a volume control, a recording level. So when you're recording on the tape, you can choose how loud you want the level to be. Okay, so if your incoming source, let's say you're using the line in, okay, line in, and the volume level isn't enough, okay, you can boost it up a bit like that and record it on the tape. Another little lifty thing you can do is, you know, if you feel the need to do so, you can actually use that as a fade out or a fade in. Okay, you can start the tape deck going, and just turn that up and fade the song in, and at the end you can fade it back out again and then press stop on the tape deck. So you can also use that as a fade in and a fade out if you really want to. Nifty little trick there from me. Okay, let's turn that back down. I always keep it on 0, that one. Next one along then, you've got this option of using that control or not. Okay, on this one you've got, let me get a bit more zoom on that for you. Okay, you can probably see it, but I'm looking at this through a silly little 2-inch screen. Come on, there we go. Record mode then. Okay, when you lift it up, it's manual. When you've got it on manual, this control comes into play. But if you can't be bothered to do all that mambo jambo, just press that down and it does it automatically for you. You've got an automatic control. Now, on some cheaper, lesser boomboxes, right, I've found that if you use the automatic level control, what sometimes happens is, the only way I can word it is on certain boomboxes, the cheaper ones, the quieter parts of the music sound louder than the loud bits. It's really naffed up. It's just horrible. When you play it back and you listen to it, you can tell it's been recorded on a super cheapo box with a really naffed up automatic level control on it. Okay, yeah. And I'm not saying this one is like it. I've never tried it. But if ever I do, I shall have that on manual, and I can choose what option is. It's a bit like this camera. I've got the option of having automatic zoom or manual zoom, automatic focus or manual focus. Okay, that's nice. I can you know, set the zoom and focus, and then press a button, and then switch between automatic focus and manual focus, and then achieve certain effects, certain visual effects. Okay, it's nice to have that option. Okay, and it's also nice to have the option when doing your recordings as well. Dubbing, the next one along. Okay, what that is for is when you're copying from one tape to another, you put that up. Okay, and that allows you to copy from one tape to another. When you put that in the other mode, okay, and you put the tape in and press record, this boombox has got built-in microphones. Okay, when it's in the off position, it enables those internal microphones. So when you put a tape in and press record, it records your voice or whatever. Okay, but when you put it up like that, you've got a couple of options. Then when you put that up, if that's in the up position and you put a tape in deck 2 and press record, it'll blank it off. Okay, but if you got the tape in deck 1 and you started playing, it would copy it over to the other tape. Okay, that's what that's for. Next one along then, tape select. Now on this one you got 2 of them. Okay, on some boomboxes you only get 1, and whatever option you select, that applies to both of the tape decks. But on this one you've got a selection. Okay, for deck 1 then, down the bottom there like that, you've got normal tape function, and if you move that up, it applies for deck 1. You've got chrome and metal. Okay, when you lift that up. On deck 2 though, you've actually got 3 options. Down there you've got normal, put it in the middle, you've got chrome, and you lift it right up the top, you've got metal. Okay, so you've got 3 options on deck 2, and I've got a feeling that is for recording as well. On some boomboxes, you can only select the tape type for playback. Okay, not recording. On this one, I do believe you can use it for recording as well. Now, on this one where it says 3-way 6 speaker, there would be a couple of other controls, one there and one there, and there's the third one. So you'd have one there, and that one. But this is the 767, so you don't get those. And instead of having just a blank space there, they've wrote that on there. 3-way 6 speaker. Moving along then. Okay, FM mode or mute. Okay. When you're listening to the radio and on an FM broadcast, yeah, you put it in the middle like that and you get stereo. Okay, but on certain stations, you know, they're a bit distant, a bit weak, got a bit of radio interference in them, you can get sort of a lot of hissing and clicking and popping and all that lot. If you put that on mono, it's supposed to reduce a lot of that. Okay. Similarly, what you can do, if you put that right up the top like that, when you're tuning in, if it's in that function, any weak stations, this unit will just cut them out. Okay, so you can go from one end of the scale to the other, and any weak stations are just filtered out. You'll never find them. Okay, I like to find all of the stations on the scale, so I leave it like that, even if they are rather distant and sound rather lots of hiss and clicks and pops in and all that lot. If I really want to listen to it that bad, I should just put it on, press it down to the mono. Bands then for this one. Well, on this unit, instead of having, it's gone again, innit? Come along, camera. Right, so I'm locking that into manual focusing. Remember what I was saying about selection of options? Okay. This is an occasion where having a manual and automatic focus is a nice little bonus, because I can put it on manual and it doesn't matter if I do that and then bring it back out. As you can see, it doesn't focus on my hand. As soon as I take it back out, the video subject is right there. Okay, if I had that on automatic focus, when I've done that, it would try focusing on my hand. When I take it away, that would be all blurry and then it'd have to try and focus back in on that. So again, it's nice to have that option. Okay, whether it be manual automatic focus or manual automatic recording, it's nice to have a nice little selection of options. Okay, so on this one we got what I like to call it 3 bands. Okay, a 4-band boombox, I would consider that to be FM, medium wave, short wave and long wave. Okay, on this one there isn't any long wave. Okay, instead you've got FM, short wave 2, short wave 1, and then instead of saying medium wave on this one, it does actually say AM. Okay, the AM is the same as medium wave. Okay, so there you go. Now then, we've done all that. If we are listening to shortwave, we've got this little control that comes into play, fine tuning. Now this is interesting with shortwave because if I set that in as it currently is and go up and down the scale, let's say for example I found 5 stations on shortwave. What I can do is just turn that a bit like that, go up and down the scale again, and you might only find 2 stations, but one of them stations that you found, it's another one that you found that you didn't find when that was in the other position. Okay, and if you turn it a bit more and then go up and down the scale again, you might find other new stations that you couldn't find. And that's what you do. You turn that, go up and down the scale, turn it a bit more, go up and down. And you'll find every time you turn that and go up and down the scale, you'll find other radio stations. Shortwave is a bit cranky like that, and that's what you've got that option for. Okay, some boom boxes you can only turn that in one direction a certain way, and it hits a limit, and then you've got to turn it back the other way. With that one, it just continuously rotates, and of course, all of that, you're going to need one of those. Okay, turn that, and there's a piece of string in there, which if I zoom this camera out a bit, there's the in there. Okay, turn that, and a bit of string comes up there to that, pulls that backwards and forwards, and in the other end a bit of string disappears down the back of the boombox somewhere, interacts with something electronical, and that does the tuning. Okay, so this radio you tune it in with a piece of string like all the others. Okay, so what we've done there so far is, I'll zoom this out, we've talked about all these controls along here. Okay, what I want to do is pop off a little break. When we come back, we shall have a look at all the other controls down the bottom here. And, well, we've got a couple of other little things in here to have a look at as well. Okay, so bear with me a moment. I'm going to pop off, have a cup of tea time. You can do so as well. You can have a cup of tea or a can of cola or whatever. And then we'll come back on what is to be the last boombox to be shown on Wayne's Electrical. Okay, so just bear with me a moment. Okay then, thanks for coming back after the break. What we're going to be doing then is getting on with more controls and functions and things on the Sharp GF767. Okay, in the previous section we discussed all them controls up the top, and in this one we're going to do the rest of them. Let's pull that zoom back a bit then. Now, where it says GF767, on other models of boomboxes there would be toys and whistles and functions there, but this is the basic one, so that's been blanked off and had the model number, excuse me, that's been blanked off and had the model number put there along with the W double cassette logo. Okay, so moving along then, the next control that we come across is, of course, I think that rather much explains itself, it's a bass control. Okay, that focus, come along. What is wrong with this camera tonight? I think it's something to do when I slide it along. Right, manual focus then. Right, there it is. Right, I've got that on manual, so I've locked it in. It won't move. So we've got the bass control then. With this, you turn it to the left and it trims some of the bass out. But if you turn it to the right, it adds some in. Okay, where is it on there? Right, it's in the centre now. When you turn that and it hits the centre, there's like a little notch in there. It clicks. And you can feel it when it's in the centre. Okay. On some other models of boomboxes, instead of having a round little knob to get hold of, it's actually sort of it's straight up and down, and then when you turn it, it looks like as if it's horizontal sort of thing. Okay, but with this, you know, from this distance, it's difficult to see where it's selected on there. Okay. You can see it though in full HD 1920 by 1080p, but I'm trying to see that on the back of a silly little screen, and I can't see the little there's like a little notch indent in the front of that, and I can't see that on the silly little screen on the back of the camera. Okay, moving along, we've got treble then. It pretty much explains itself. That's the top end of the sound. Okay, bass is the bottom end, treble is the top end. Okay, again, turn it to the right, it adds some in. Turn it to the left, it takes some out. If you put it in the middle, it's sort of well, it's flat. The music is it doesn't have anything added in or anything taken out. Next one along then, balance. Pretty much explains itself, because if you're listening to a tape and one side of the sound is a bit, you know, it's not quite right, you can turn that and it'll to level things out. That's currently set in the middle, which is exactly where I want it. The next control then, that decides how hard the speakers are going to woof on this one. That's obviously the volume control. I can say that this boombox does have a fair bit of woof to it as well. Okay, so you turn that, and well, as it currently is, it's quite quiet. You whip it up there, and it's seriously going some. Okay, next one, moving along then, loudness. Now you do get this function on this one. Okay, I've found that not so much on this one, you know, but it is sort of. But on boomboxes where they offer the loudness function, I've found that when you turn that off, the music sounds rather sort of flat. It's sort of lacking dimension. You know, it just sounds flat. And well, when you turn it on, the music sort of comes alive. Okay, and you know, it gives extra dimension and depth. You've got the top end going for it, you've got the bottom end going for it, and all that sort of stuff. But when it's off, it, you know, it just sounds flat. I can't, you know, I can't like it like that. You know, it's alright at night. Okay, when you want the you know, nice and quiet. Okay, and you've got the volume level down at such a level which, basically speaking, if you turn it off, you can't tell the difference. Then fine. But when you know, you really want to give it some, turn it on, it makes the boombox come alive, it really does. Okay, moving along then, oh look, it says sharp there. Okay, on other models they actually put the model number there. Okay, but on this one it's a bit further along there because they would have had a big empty space with nothing in it, so the model number, instead of putting it there, they put it back along there where there would have been otherwise loads of toys, functions, bells and whistles. Moving along then, power. Okay, it's pretty obvious what that one does. You turn it on and the boombox powers up. Oh yes. Now, in the current position, it's what's called sleep. Okay, and what that does, that sleep function, if you play in a tape, when the tape comes to an end and stops, the whole boombox will just power down and sort of go asleep as if it were. Okay, but if you've got it in the up position like that, when the tape comes to an end, the boombox stays turned on. Okay, now the sleep function is pretty useful if you're running it on batteries. Okay, because then you can put a tape in, play it. When it comes to an end and stops, the whole boombox will power down and save your batteries. Okay. Now you can't really see it from this angle, but you see this part that sticks out slightly further. Just underneath there's a little red LED, and when you turn it on, the little red LED lights up. The boombox isn't plugged in at the minute, so just trust me on that, okay? You turn that on, there's a little red LED just in there, and you can see it lit up. That thing is, I said a built-in microphone, didn't I? That's one of them. Right up the other end, next to the tape deck, there's the other one. Okay. There it is. Right there. So there we go. Now then, speakers. Let's have a look at those. One thing I might like to point out with this one is those grills, they are removable, okay? They come off. Okay, you just get hold of it and they come off. Like so. Okay, there you go. There we are. Now, if you've noticed, these do have like a... They look, have got a blue tint to them. They're not black. Okay, as far as I know, it's only the 767 that have got the blue tint grills. Okay, all of the others have got black ones. Now, as you can see, that looks quite nice like that. I've cleaned up the little chromey bits in the middle of the speakers there. Okay, what does look nice is if I put the boombox at an angle. Oh dear. Like that. This is quite a weighty box. If I put the boombox like at an angle like that to the camera, there you go, like so. So you can see them in there then. Now those speaker grills, they are there to perform a certain function, and that is to protect the grills, to protect the speakers. Okay, if you haven't got those grills on, Those speakers left open to all sorts of accidents. Okay, and if you take to the streets, what I would say to you there is, uh, put the grills on. Okay, although it looks, so-called cool without the grills on, what does not look cool is a football coming out of nowhere, going straight in the speaker and breaking it. Okay, it also doesn't go down too well with the Worldwide Ghetto Massive. Okay, now in a situation like this, okay, there isn't no footballs flying around the room. But here's the thing, you could have the grills off like that, playing music. You turn the boombox off, you go out the room, turn the light off. Okay, when you come back, you've forgotten that you've got your boombox on the floor like that. You come in the room with that light turned on, you accidentally stick your foot through the speaker. Again, doesn't go down too well with the Worldwide Ghetto Massive. Okay, sticking a foot through a speaker on the boombox like that, it does not go down too well. So the idea of having the grills removable is so you can get in there with a duster. Okay, just have a little go around with a little feather duster or whatnot, very carefully. You don't want to punch the speakers in. And then once you've done that, immediately after, you put the grills back on. Okay, they're held in place in the corners by like 4 little rubber things. Okay, and these little pins, okay, on there, they just plug it into the little holes, and that holds it on there. Okay, so there we go. So that is overall then the front of a GS767, but there's more. Just down there, if you wanted to listen to this privately, there it is. Whop. Okay, lock the focus, there we go. I've just used autofocus for that. Just down there, you can see it says phones, and that is a 6.1mm stereo jack, and you can plug your proper set of hi-fi headphones in that and listen to the music privately with this boombox. Okay, now if you wanted to use the headphones that came with your little pod thing, then you'll need to put an adapter in there to reduce it to a 3.5mm size. Okay, so there we are. Headphone sockets on the old boombox there. Okay. There it is. Let's get them grills back on there then. Again, you just get these, push them on, like that, and like that, and the same with the other one. There we are. Okay, so the grills are back on them. Okay, like I say, they are there to protect the speakers. Now, what some other people do, those who can, afford to get one of those and just take the grills off and take a can of spray paint to them, is that's what they do. So they take the speaker grills off, put some kind of fancy artwork on them, wait for it to dry, of course, and then shove it back on. But the thing is, once you've done that, your eyes are drawn to the artwork that's on there, or whatever terminology you want to use to call it. Some people call it graffiti. But your eyes are drawn to that instead, and because of that, you can't see the speakers anymore. And for that very reason, I like to keep my boombox original. Okay, because, a boombox with a row of speakers on it like that, it says something, don't it? Okay, that boombox looks like it can woof hard, and I'm telling you, when you turn that control up, it certainly does woof hard. And, yeah, it's got some proper flipping boom to it. And if you've got that on a worktop, about chest height, and you turn it up, yeah, you've got 4 speakers having a go at you, and it don't half go some. What we're going to do is, I can feel another little break coming on. Okay, I need to go find that Tobias as well. He's out at the moment, so I need to go find my Tobias. That's a feline. Okay, he's out at the moment. Yes, there are videos on the channel of Tobias. Okay, just go on the main channel page and search for feline, and you will find little videos of him, okay, doing various different things. Okay, so I'm going to pop off for a break, go find that Tobias If I can find him, then I can find him. If I can't, then he's out for the night shift. Break time then. And we'll come back shortly. You don't need to press any buttons, move a muscle or anything. When we come back, we shall be having a look on the back of that thing and then getting it measured up with the old tape measures. You can see how wide, tall and deep that thing is. Okay, it's a big old box. Come back in a minute. Okay then, thanks for coming back after the break. We're going to be getting straight into this then with the specification plate on the back of the BoomBox. And what we got there then is the Sharp model number GF767Z. Okay, in case you haven't figured it out, yes, I do have hold of the camera because if I use the tripod, the camera angle is a bit like that and you can't really see the top of the specification plate. So if I bring it all the way down here, you can see it. Okay, so generally speaking, this camera's not too bad for wobble. Okay, if I hold it with both hands, there you go, that's not wobbling at all. So, Sharp model number GF767Z then. Stereo radio tape recorder, yes it is. Multi-voltage, okay, we've got 110, 120, 210 to 220 or 230 to 240 volts. 50 or 60 hertz will do. And 60 watts of power consumption. Okay, other power options include a 15 volt DC jack, or if you really want, then use 10 times D cells on this one. Just down there it shows the frequency range of the bands that are on this, keeping in mind that this one doesn't have long wave on it. Okay, it's got 2 shortwave bands instead. Just below that we've got the serial number and then it says Sharp Corporation, made in Japan. If you wish to continue looking at that, press the pause button now because we're moving on. Ah yes, a set of jacks to have a look at. Now that, okay, the first set of jacks then, the red and the white one there, they're line outs. Okay, so what you can do with that on this one is to you know, you can play a tape or whatnot and you can put it out of there either to an amplifier or another tape deck and do a recording of it or something like that, and do it at signal level as well. Okay, so you know, that can be handy. I'm pretty sure it has its uses. Okay, now moving along, we've got a little switch there that says line in and phono. We'll come back to that in a minute. Carrying on then, we've got another set of RCA phono jacks. Okay, that red and that white one. And what we got there, if that focus will behave, I'm locking it into manual. What we got there then is, that's your input. Okay, so you can like connect a mini disc machine into that reel-to-reel machine, another tape deck or whatever, and have the sound of that come out on the speakers on this unit. Okay, now that GND, that's associated with turntables. Okay, now if I go back to this little switch here, okay, what you can do is, if you're going to connect the turntable up to this, you can, if the turntable hasn't got a built-in phono stage, if it outputs the signal at phono level, you can get that switch, flick it over to the phono, and then put your turntable in there, and this BoomBox has a built-in phono stage. Okay, so it'll take the signal in, pump it up to line level, then it'll go through the amplifier and then out of the speakers. Okay, so you've got that option on this one. And of course, if you are connecting up a CD player or a mini disc machine or a reel-to-reel machine, you put that on line in because it doesn't need any extra boosting, and just put it straight in there. Okay, now that GND then, if your turntable's got got one of those on the back of it, what is generally a good idea is to get a piece of wire, undo that little nut on there, wrap it around there, tighten it up, and then put the other end on your turntable. Okay, because apparently a lot of pops and clicks that you get on a turntable is static. Okay, so if you connect the two units together with a grounding wire, it's supposed to reduce or cancel that clicking out. You know, the pops and the clicks and things. Okay, and that's what that terminal is for. Moving along then, on this one we've got external microphones. You've got right and left. Okay, so you can plug the microphones in there and have a little sing along to the music if you want. Right in the middle of that is a smaller mini jack, and it says REM. Now I've got a feeling that's a remote, and what that basically is, the old wired remotes, is basically it's a little box, and it'll have a little push button on top of it. Okay, you push it in and hold it, and when you let go of it, the button pops back out. Now I've got a feeling that is associated with a tape deck. Okay, the idea being is you put the remote in there. When you push the button, it pauses the tape deck. Okay, and when you let go of it, the tape deck starts again. I've got a feeling that's what that is. I don't have one, so I've never tried it out. Is that it? No, it's not. We come down here. There we go. A boombox like this, you would obviously want somewhere to connect in some external speakers. Yes, there they are. Okay, X to SP, or external speakers. They can be anywhere between 4 and 8 ohms, and those little sockets on there, they are 3.5mm mono jacks. Okay, and you put a set of speakers in there, and away you go. Anywhere between 4 and 8 ohms is ideal. What's this coming up? Oh look, we got another one, another set of jacks, and that is what's called super woofer. Once again, 4 to 8 ohms. Okay, so you can plug basically 2 pairs of speakers into this and replicate the speaker arrangement on the front of the unit. And for those speakers, I'd seem to think you'd basically have the just a woofer in the enclosure. And once again, 3.5mm little jacks, mono, and you connect the speakers in there, and away you go. Okay, so you can actually have like 4 speakers and replicate the speaker arrangement which is on the front of this unit. Moving down here then, we've got beat cancel. Now other manufacturers call this a variety of things, from beat cancel, beat cut, beat proof, riff, whatever. Okay, this one's got 3 options on it, A, B or C. Now apparently when you're tuning into a radio station, I can't remember if it's on medium wave or FM or AM for that matter, but on one of them there's a certain type of radio interference which I've heard some other people refer to as a beating sound. Okay, if you ever experience that, you're supposed to be able to go to that switch, choose an option, and it either reduces or cancels out that beating sound. On this one it's selected to A. Okay, but you know, if ever I need to, I can change it to B or C. It's right there and the options are available. Are we done then? Well, what's that? Ah, that's the battery compartment. That's where you put the 10D cells in there so you can power it with batteries and make the whole unit portable. Moving along here then, we've got a couple of other options, and that's the where you put the mains in there. Okay, in that little hole there, that's the one to the left. And I need to adjust the focus again. Right, there it is. Like so, I'm going to lock it in on manual then, so it doesn't vary. Okay then, the one to the left is you put your AC input in there. And interestingly, on this boombox, that's not a figure of 8 plug on there. Okay, I've got a feeling the pins are slightly further apart. Okay, now I do have a plug to go in there, but the funny thing is, on the other end of the flex, there's an Australian plug on there. Okay, because this boombox, I got this on a popular auction website, and it had come, it was posted to me from Australia. Okay, NSW it came from. Took 3 months to get here, but it got here okay. That's the main thing. And there we go. And yes, the power cord that came with it, it does have an Australian plug on the end of it. I do have another power cord for another boombox, and it so happens to fit in there just nicely, so everything's fantastic right there. Next to that then, we've got a 15 volt DC jack, and if I get a bit closer to that, I'm going to need to sort that focus out again because I'm on manual. Go on then. I'm too close to it, too much zoom. Right, there you go, DC 15 volt jack then, and I do believe that is a negative centre. Yep, negative centre then, DC 15 volts. Now before we move on, I need to go back to this AC input. You can see it just down the bottom, there's a little switch. When you put the plug in, it presses that switch down and converts the boombox over to mains power. Okay, however, when you pull that plug out, that switch is supposed to pop up and convert the boombox over to battery power. But sometimes on certain boomboxes it gets a bit stuck, especially if the mains plug has been in there for a prolonged amount of time. Okay, little top tip from the Worldwide Ghetto Massive, okay. If you ever find that you put batteries in your boombox and then the boombox won't power up or work or do anything on batteries, get a little screwdriver, stick it in there, press that switch up and down a few times, and you may very well find it will loosen it, it will pop up, and then your boombox will be okay on batteries, okay? So that's a nice little top tip there from the Worldwide Ghetto Massive. Moving along then, oh look, there's a voltage selector right there, and if we look in there, currently set up correctly, it says 230 to 240 volts in there, and that is what we got in the UK. It is rather manual, so on a boombox like this you need to check that it is set on the correct voltage before plugging it in, otherwise some things go off a bit of a pop. Okay, and yeah, a boombox like this you wouldn't want to connect it to the wrong voltage and pop it. Okay, because firstly it would be, an absolute shame, and secondly that does not go down too well with the Worldwide Ghetto Massive. Coming up all the way up here then, we've got these screws on here, and what that is for is an external antenna. Okay, so you can connect onto that, and yeah, probably pull in a few more stations. Just above that we've got the built-in antennas. Now those, they are the original ones as well. No dents in them, no bends or nothing. Okay, absolutely spot on. And there's another one all the way over there. So this boombox has got two of them. They're both for FM. So there we go. Both of those are original as well. So I should put those away before anything untoward happens with them. Okay. Now, look on here. It says rod antenna. Okay. That focus will adjust for me. Come on. I'll tell you what, this flipping focus zoom's really bad tonight for some weird reason. I've got it on auto as well. What is wrong with this camera tonight? Right, let's get up to it then. Pull that right the way back. I'm going to get right up to it. It might be because I've got hold of the camera, I don't know. Oh, there it goes. Rightio then, rod antenna. As you can see up the top here, it says FM. Okay, so you can use either that one, or both of them. That's probably the better option. But, as you can see there, it says shortwave. And if you're using shortwave, then you use that one over there. Okay, so this one is suited for FM and shortwave. Both of them are for FM only. Okay, so there you go. This handle on here, that is actually solid metal, chrome plated. There's a nice weighty handle on that as well. And obviously speaking, you won't want a cheap plasticky one on a boombox like this. Okay, so, Sharp did actually, do a good handle for this boombox. Okay, that plug over there in the wall socket is powering the camera. We're not going to power the boombox up. Okay, so there you go. It's a nice boomer altogether, and yeah, it came to me from Australia. Okay, NSW this came from, and there we are. Very clean, tidy condition. Okay, relatively minty actually. And there we are. So yes, the story behind this basically is I started working a new factory, and I had to go down one end of the factory one afternoon to run a machine, and sat on top of one of the machines with one of these. Okay, it was in a much worse state than this one. It was the front and the back are held together. They put like sticky tape all the way round to BoomBox at either end to hold the two parts together. A lot of the controls are missing off the front of it. And, well, that was the first time I'd ever seen one of those, and it was a GF767 as well. However, I went on, when I got home, I went on to a well-known search engine, typed in the model number there, GF767, and that is when I discovered the Worldwide Ghetto Massive. Okay, I obviously joined up, and interestingly, coincidentally, a few weeks after joining up, there was a discussion about that, okay, and a link to the popular auction website. I saw that and I had to have it, okay. I put my bid in, and this was on dial-up as well, I might like to point out. I put my bid in, and then, well, I suppose, like 30 seconds towards the end of the auction, I slammed in an absolute killer bid because I seriously had to have it. Okay, BoomBox like that, it is seriously tasty. I had to have it. So I put in a killer bid, and yes, I won it. Now, I'd like to say a big thanks to this person that sold it to me, because when it comes to paying for it, there was some kind of thing to do with PayPal where basically you can only spend up to a certain amount and then you have to get your account verified or something. Well, I had to go through that process, and that took a couple of weeks. And yeah, the person that's selling it, they could have just given me bad feedback and then relisted it. But no, he was good enough to wait for me while I got the verification process done. And as soon as I got that done, I slammed the payment in, and then he boxed it up, and, well, double boxed it actually. He put it in a box and then put it into another box. And yeah, it took 3 months to get here. And but the main thing is, I'd rather it take, you know, 3 months and it arrive in one piece than what it would arrive in 3 days and be all smashed up. Okay, because smashed up, that's no good, and that does not go down too well with the Worldwide Ghetto Massive. Okay, so yes, we don't like it when we get a BoomBox in the post that's all smashed up. Okay, so, but that one arrived nice and safely. And yes, when was that now? Well, that was around about November 2004. Okay, that actually arrived here in, I think it was early March 2005. I got that. Okay, and I've been enjoying looking at it ever since. Okay, it's a seriously tasty box to look at. Now then, measurements. We haven't done that yet, have we? We want to get some measurements in. I'm just going to put the camera back on the tripod. I've got a tape measure, and we're going to measure it up. Now, it's quite a sizeable box, this one. Camera back on the tripod then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the camera still. So what I'm going to do, if that focus will behave, go on, behave. Come on, this is supposed to be full HD, for goodness sake. It's doing it again, isn't it? Yeah, look, it's doing. Hang on, manual focus. I don't know what's going on with this focus tonight. Right, that's out. That's in. Leave it there. Okay. So there you go. Right. What I'm going to do then is the width. Okay. Right the way across. Tape measure. Right then, how wide this boomer is, we're going to call it 29.5 inch then, or that would be 750 millimeters. Okay, for the width. For the height, I'm going to do two heights, one with the handle up and the one with the handle down. Okay, let me tilt that camera up a bit, just a tad. There we go. For the handle up, then we are looking at, called it 17 inch. 17 inch or 430 millimeters, but with the handle down, you're looking at 15 inch or 380 millimeters. Okay, now for the depth, keeping in mind we might have a load of jack plugs sticking out the back of that. You've got to take that into account, and also for ventilation reasons, you don't want the back of the box right up against the wall. Okay, so we're going to add on about that much space onto the total depth measurement. Let's turn it around. this is quite an heavy boomer, this one. There we go. So you can see across the top of that then. Okay, so from the grills, because the grills stick out a bit, right the way to the back and a bit extra on, we will be looking at, I can just get it round about there. Right, we'd be looking at, I would say, taking into account a bit of space on the back then, call it 8.5 inch. Okay, 8.5 inch, and that would be 220mm for depth. So there you go. That's your measurements then for GF767, and also a lot of other boomboxes of that type. Okay, there are a few others like that, and they are Japanese only boomboxes. That being the 909, 919, the 999 and the GF1000. Okay, but like I say, they are Japanese only boomboxes, and as such they don't have a voltage selector on them, and they only run on 100 volts. Okay, so you've got to take that into account before thinking about buying one if you see one. Okay, the only ones that have got voltage selectors on is the GF767, which is there, and the GF777, or the 777, whichever way you want to call it. Okay, so let's spin it around then and have a look at what is to be the last boombox to be shown on Wayne's Electrical. There it is. Okay, now, as far as the boombox videos go, I hope you enjoyed all of them if you've been watching them. If you haven't been, then what you can do is you can go to the main channel page, press playlists, go down to the boomboxes playlist, go in there, and you can pick a box to watch. Okay, or I believe there's a function on there where you can just press play all, and you can have boomboxes back to back. Okay, and yeah, you'd probably have to spare yourself about 5 or 6 hours, possibly even more than that, to go through the whole lot. Okay, so yeah, you know, if you feel one afternoon you haven't got anything to do and you fancy watching boomboxes, go onto the boombox playlist and just press play all, and you can have boomboxes back to back for hours upon hours. Okay, and you can get some serious satisfaction just looking at loads of tape decks and woofers. How's that take your fancy? Okay, if it does, I'd really like a big thumbs up for that. Okay, because it does take me a little while to do this. I mean, interestingly, I don't know how I've done it, but we've got that in under an hour. Okay, but like I say, it is the more basic one compared to the GF777, which you can see in Boombox's playlist, don't forget. Because in this vid I said that don't do it now, but you know, it was a little bit earlier on. But I did say that the model number on that, if you click on it, you can go to the 777 video and have a look at that. And yes, and also I might like to point out, if that didn't work, look in the video description, there'll be a link in there. That's if I remember to put it in there. Okay, if it isn't in there, just give us a little nudge in the comments box and I shall repair that issue. Okay, because sometimes I do forget to, you know, put cross links in, and it's easily rectified. If you just give me a nice little polite nudge in the comments box, I shall update things accordingly. Okay, so yes, this was the last boombox video to show on Wayne's Electrical. Okay, it's like anything. There's only so many boomboxes that someone can own, and yeah, I've shown all of them now. And yeah, so we've run out of boomboxes to show, basically. What else can I say? I mean, don't get tearful about it, you know. But yeah, there isn't going to be any more boomboxes. I mean, that basically wraps up the boombox video designator. Okay, and yes, that little thing at the beginning of the video where you see like the electricity meter, the boom boxes and all that business. That one where it's actually that one. Okay, when at the beginning of the video you saw like the little square at the beginning. It's actually that one in the opening at the opening intro. It's actually that one. Yeah, so I might actually just take that off and put another designator in there, because from this point forward there isn't going to be any more boomboxes, so therefore that little square that's got that boombox in it is not needed anymore, so I just might take that one off. Or, you know, just for tradition and nostalgia and something to look at while the video's starting up on the intro, I just might leave it in there. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. So there we are then. No more boomboxes on Wayne's Electrical. But like I say, that playlist, it is always there. Every video is in full HD, 1920 by 1080p. So there, you know, some serious enjoyment there. Lots of tape decks and woofers to look at. I've got to go. It has been a Wayne's Electrical production. Last boombox then. Okay. So there we are. Well, get in on the comments box, let me know what you think about the GF767 or any other boombox for that matter. Of course, you know, go on the relevant video and the relevant comments box, of course. So there we are. Yes, I am a member of the Worldwide Ghetto Massive, and otherwise known in the Worldwide Ghetto Massive as Boombox Deluxe, of course. So there we are. I'm off. Okay, it's quite late at night now. Let me have a look at my watch. Oh my goodness me. Didn't know it was that late. I've got to go find the Tobias. He's still out. Okay, if he stays out any longer, he's doing a night shift, as he does sometimes. I've got to go. Cheers for watching this one then.